Hey guys, it's Amber, and I am getting ready to work on day 5 plus a little bonus material for my album. Been dragging my feet a little bit because I don't really want it to be over, and I don't really have much left, that is for sure. So yeah, these photos on the side here, excuse me, are literally day 5 is just us flying home, so nothing especially special happening with that. I have those photos. I have our boarding passes that I'll be including as ephemera. I have some flower photos that I want to make like a 4-page pocket page, just gathering them kind of all together instead of scattering them throughout the album. I also have this guy, which I did print earlier on one of the days and decided not to use it. And then I have a little bit of info here with screenshots because we did have to cut our trip short because of the hurricane coming through. So I have some details about it from, like, I think the Weather Channel, a map of where it was going to hit directly, and then an actual update with the day and time that it was upgraded to hurricane status. So I'm going to be doing some specific journaling about that and what it meant and how it like affected our trip. And then I will also probably be trying to do some sort of daily journaling. I'm thinking about printing it on vellum, even though I know it can be like a sensitive material. I'm considering either punching it or keeping it to a 6x8 and putting it in page protectors so that it is better protected. I want to do some stamped titles with these across the top of the journaling, and maybe mixing in these if possible, like vacation especially. Because I definitely didn't play with them quite enough in the album like I wanted to, so probably mixing these two together and maybe a handful of icons from this. And even like the traveling thoughts and the traveling feelings I was thinking about using as well, since it will be specifically about journaling. The only things that I have left in my ephemera here are I have our checkout envelope, which I think I might just punch a hole in. I have a receipt from the airport with these two things that I might punch out and do something with. And I have my gift bag from the resort as well. So considering what, if anything, I'll do with those couple things I have left. But I'm just gonna get started filling in the pockets, figuring out you know, what cards and embellishments are going on there. I don't have much going on, obviously. And then I will be all finished. I will definitely be sharing a full walkthrough when I have it ready to go. And oh, and I have this chipboard which has been sitting on my desk, so I didn't forget to use it. It's from a One Little Word kit, and it says highs and lows from this adventure with my word, but I'm planning just to trim it off right there, and I'm using that with the hurricane stuff. Thought that would work out really well, and a good reminder that you can always use your supplies in a different way than you expect. So, and also that reminds me, I'm planning to use the travel fail with that as well, which will work, you know, because these are dark red and yellow, and that should coordinate. So I'll be able to do a little something with those things. So I'm gonna put you on pause, get my photos trimmed out, and get started with my little craft buddy here. And I will share when I'm all ready. Thanks.
Okay, so step 1 is going to be getting my photos cut out with the help of my little buddy there. You wouldn't believe how much scrapbooking I do with her right nearby, or how much I edit her out sometimes. That is just her spot now. After 3.5 years of scrapbooking without her on my desk, now she's there all the time, which I kind of secretly love, but sometimes I have to remove her and she does not love it. But just getting the photos trimmed out and then figuring out which page protectors I'm going to use. So there I'm using one of Ali Edwards 3x8s with a 2x3 on the top and a 3x6 pocket on the bottom. I have a screenshot there of the information about the tropical storm, and then on the back I have a screenshot of when they announced that it was officially a hurricane. So now I'm putting my 4x6s in. That's going to be 2 of our airplane tickets on the back and then a 4x6 on the front. And I'm going to grab a 4-pocket 3x4 page protector and put these in. So I'm just getting everything in its place for now. That's usually my first stage. I'll put everything in pockets before I begin starting to fill in all the holes with cards and journaling cards and quote cards and stuff. So here I had 8 photos of flowers from around our trip that I just grouped together. It actually ends up going on a totally different day, but I had kind of waited till the end to put them all together. And here I'm just looking for a 4x6 card to fill that spot. I'm going to use a card from the 2020 collection, knowing that I'm just going to put something over top of it. It's kind of just for decoration. And I start looking at 3x4 cards before I remember, oh yeah, I already have at least 2 cards already set aside for this last day, which is my travel story number 5 card from the 2020 travel collection, and then that orange quote card that says like so happy to leave and so happy to come home or something like that, which I just thought was a great way to finish. So I'm taking my trimmer and I'm trimming my chipboard. It's not something I've ever done before. Usually I use scissors, but I really wanted to make sure it was a nice straight line and it still needed a little bit of the edge trimmed up, so I was using my scissors for that. Here I am taking my learning card and using a detour stamp that I believe is from Citrus Swiss Kits, and I'm going to end up cutting that in half and doing a little bit of journaling. I don't really love the way that this came out, but it's what it was for now. And I still wasn't even sure how I wanted to add that yellow chipboard, but later on off camera I used the Chanel paper and attach it down, which has some yellow in it. So just adding a little bit of handwritten journaling to that little space there and sliding that back in. My original plan was to kind of layer the chipboard over the writing, but I ended up realizing that it was kind of helpful information, so I didn't want to cover it. I ended up eventually covering part of the map instead, where it's a different island that you can't see. But so while I'm incapable of making that decision, I just tucked it back in and decided to skip on to the next thing. So here I'm looking through my stamps, trying to find something. And instead of adding a phrase like I've been doing here, I took my compass stamp from last year's travel stamps in 2020, and I'm going to just add a light colored ink to it. I'm just trying to make it like a subtle watermark kind of look from this compass. I need to find a lighter ink. This is a Kelly Perky one that's kind of old, and the first stamp didn't come out very clear. It's hard to tell. It looks okay, but part of the problem why it got darker is, of course, because I stamped it a second time. So I was a little frustrated, but decided just to go with it and continue journaling over the top anyway. So here I'm taking our checkout envelope. It's quite a bit larger than all the other items, so I'm just trimming it down to 8 1/4 inches and punching it. And then I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided sticky tape along the bottom just to seal it off again. If I wasn't putting anything inside, I wouldn't even honestly worry about it. But I was just putting in some extra tickets and pieces into it that are just like leftover plain plate stuff, just so that I have them somewhere instead of just throwing them away. And then I have a receipt that I'm going to tuck in with that other receipt from the airport. I'm going to start cutting out that bag. My intention was to use it like a 6x8 paper, but I end up making a little bit of a whoopsie when I'm trimming it down, which I cut out because you see me just kind of going, crap. I wasn't paying attention when I was doing my trims, and I realized I cut off the wrong side. So it got really, really close to the words at the bottom, because everything else up until that point was fine, but it's a little too wide. So I was trimming a little bit off here and there on each side and got a little close. So here I am putting one of these Escape heart die cuts from the 2020 travel collection on the inside of my album. Love that it has a little something there. It's flat, not dimensional. I love it centered, but what I wish I had done is opened up the pages in the book and centered it more to the left so that when the pages are open, you can see it fully.
Hey guys, it's Amber. Just getting ready to show you a quick walkthrough of day 5. So I have my page opener here. And on the inside here, I have our checkout information from Sandals, which you saw me create. And I just tucked extra ticket pieces that we have in there for now, just so that I have them. Here I have my 3x8 insert that I created talking about how Elsa became a hurricane while we were down there, and I used the travel fail chipboard for that on the outside of the page protector. On the back here, I don't love it, but is what it is for now. I have the screenshot. I used the learning card and cut that in half, put a detour, and just was talking about how we've been learning so much about hurricanes. And then I used that highs and lows chipboard. This pattern paper here is a Chamel pattern called Little by Little. It has this amazing yellow print on the back, which I've used many times. I took a card from the 2020 travel collection and cut it out. It's 2 3/4, so I didn't have any punches, but I just used something else that I had that was clear, which was actually one of these globes from last year's kit, which fit perfectly, and I was able to use that as a template. And I thought that the raindrops was an appropriate paper, and it was just kind of also bright and fun and sort of tropical. And then I used that on the back of this sandals. This was the bag that I cut out. I was not paying attention, and I made a cut too tight here, so I had to use it on the back so that I could punch the holes here, so that it kind of looked balanced. I was a little disappointed with myself for screwing that up, because I would have actually flipped this over and put it over here, but is what it is. So here I have, this is another card from last year's kit. Put a little puppy geotag for where we are, and then this is a thicker from this Simple Stories travel kit that I've had for a while. I just put on that out on our way on the outside. It's like foamy, so it sticks on there pretty well. And this picture at the airport. On the back, I used this awesome pattern paper that was a nice tropically color just to host our 2 tickets. Here I have 2 3x4s of us at the airport, and then I used my number 5 travel story. I used this stamp from Allie just as like a background. I wanted it to be a little lighter. I need to invest in a lighter color gray for subtle background stamping like that. Use this chipboard piece from this year's, oh, I believe this was from the main kit, but I'm not sure. That was the only one that I ended up using. And then here I've got some souvenirs, so I tucked in the packaging from my Alex and Annie bracelets that I got, 2 of them. They had a Dairy Queen at the airport, so I got a little blizzard. And then this is a card from the main kit about being happy to leave and go home. Tucked in my receipts here. Not something I normally keep, but it was kind of big and fun, and why not? And then the receipt for the payment on my credit card as well. And then my journaling, which I'll be sharing in a separate video, as well as a completed walkthrough through the entire 2 albums. So the other thing that I did off camera was I added this adventure patch here from the adventure kit several years ago, and I made my book spines, which they're a little big, so I might redo them. I just printed them on photo paper, so it just says Jamaica 2021 part 1 and part 2, but it's not centered very well, so we'll see if I end up remaking those or not. But I can't wait to share the whole thing with you. Thanks so much.